Hi, welcome to Paul's Tackle Reviews. My name's Paul Cresswell. The purpose of this YouTube channel is to give you some reviews of real tackle that's been out on the bank, tried and tested by an unbiased, unsponsored angler, and that's me. As I say with all of my videos, just because something works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you, but I'll try and give you all the information to help you when you're deciding what to buy. So today I'm looking at the Preston Innovations Supera 10-foot feeder rod. This isn't the SL version, this is the standard feeder rod, commercial rod if you like. So it's a 10-foot rod, and I think we've all been using 10-foot rods for a long time, and I've had a number of these over the years. I started off with a nice cheap Garbolino Rocket, great little starter, a Drennan Series 7. I did get the Preston Carbon Active 10-foot carp rod that anybody seemed to be using at the time. And more recently, I've had a Shimano Speedmaster AX 10-foot rod. And the last rod has been a brilliant rod, the Shimano, and it's lovely to use. And it's fantastic in winter. It's got a lovely soft action, but I always felt it was a little bit soft for summer fishing and summer carp fishing as well. And sometimes it would bend tremendously, but you couldn't quite get them open. I sometimes felt like the carp were in charge more than I was. So I wanted something with a little bit more backbone, but I still wanted some finesse as well. So I bought the Supera a couple of months ago. They're about £165. I've caught an awful lot of fish on it in the time I've had it, from small skimmers right up to low doubles, 12, 13 pound carp. It's a two-piece rod, so nowadays really easy. Leave it set up in my ready rod hold all. It weighs 251 grams. That doesn't really matter for a feeder rod. Most of the time it's in the rest, and then you pick it up and use it and you cast with it. But 251, it's not a heavy rod. It comes with 3 tips, and there's a 1 ounce, a 1.5 ounce and a 2 ounce tip. I put the 1 ounce tip in, and that's all I'll ever use. I can't see me using either of the other two. I did have a brilliant day's coaching with Andy May, getting on for 10 years ago now, and he said put the softest tip in that you've got. You'll then see all the little knocks, and there's less likelihood of moving the feeder if you get a big liner with a soft tip, as it's got a bit more give. So I use the 1 ounce tip, and I think it's fantastic. So the handle, it's obviously got a screw reel fitting, and then it has this part Duplon, part cork. There's a flat bit there that goes under your arm, and then there's kind of a bulbous bit for casting at the bottom. I'll put some photos up for you to see. It's the only rod I've got with this flat bit on there. I don't know if you can see that, but the photos will explain it. It's not, I haven't noticed it particularly either way or the other. I think it's better when you're reeling in. When you're playing fish, quite often I'm playing fish to the side and I'm putting my arm against the side of it anyway. But it's a really nice, comfy rod. It's 43 centimetres from where my reel sits in the middle there to the butt. So it's a nice short handle. I haven't noticed it getting in the way. As you can see, it just goes past my elbow. It also, for the tackle tarts out there, it's a very nice finish to the rod, and it looks very nice as well. What I will say is I cannot believe how good this rod is. I wanted something that would give me more power to handle bigger fish, but I didn't want to start bumping those little skimmers off that you quite often get when you're fishing the method. Now, I've got a few Acolyte rods, and I've got an 11-foot Acolyte Plus, and I did have a 9-foot Acolyte Plus that was the rod before this, and I used it and I just lost too many skimmers. It just had a little bit too much poke in it, such that when the fish came up, they were always coming off just as they surfaced as you were going to net them. And I also found, it might be just the way I do things where I put stuff, but I got a lot of wrap rounds on my Acolyte Plus 9-foot. Not a problem I've had on the 11-foot. So I sold that rod, which was part used to finance this rod. This rod is brilliant for casting, really accurate. It says in all the blurb up to 40 meters, and I fished this at 40 meters and it's perfectly fine. I wouldn't go any further than that. I think you need a longer rod when you get in further out, but up to 40 meters, perfect. It says it's got a casting weight of 30 grams, and I wouldn't put a lot of store by what rods say on them, because my Shimano says it's got a casting weight of 70 grams, and it clearly hasn't got a casting weight. It's some arbitrary figure, but what I will say is, using one of the new Banjo feeders, the little one, which is 20 grams, so loaded around 30 grams, I had no problem accurately hitting 40 meters. It's got backbone, and I'm going to put some videos up in a minute showing in my garden. I'm sat down again lifting some weights, and I'm going to show you the Shimano, and you'll see the great hoop that forms. And now I'm going to show you this rod under compression, and you'll see there's a little bit more backbone further down. It's still carbon active, it still bends right the way there, but it reserves the power until the bigger fish come along. If I was going to say, if somebody said I want one rod to cover all my commercials up to 40 meters, I would say this is the rod. And if I had all my tackle nicked, this would be the first rod I'd go out and buy, because it can do all of that, 0 to 40 meters easily. Superb rod to use. What I will say is, in winter, I do think I might use the Shimano a bit. The fish don't fight as hard. You're fishing for a smaller number of bites, and just that extra little bit of cushion might help with some of the smaller fish in winter. But I'd be quite happy using this, but as I've got the Shimano, I think I probably will use it. And I now understand why Des Ship has this rod for most of his stuff, and then he has a 9-foot Ignition, which is only a 50 quid rod, but it's a lovely soft rod if you're going very short range, 13 meters across, maybe on a snake lake. Then a little softer rod would maybe be better, but please don't underestimate how good a rod this is. I can't believe it's as good as it is. I've had loads of rods over the years, and I finally feel like I understand what I want from a rod, and this is absolutely right up my street in terms of the strength, the power and the finesse. And like I say, all size fish can be caught with that rod. So I've got two videos. First one, I've got my Shimano rod, and I show I'm just increasing the power. I've actually hooked a big tin of hemp that doesn't come off the ground, and I kind of pull until as far as my clutch, as I have it set, just starts to tick, and then I do the same with the Supera, and you can see the different profile and what I mean about the Shimano being softer rod, and you can see how this one powers up until I get that first click on my clutch setting. I've been pairing this with a Preston Magnitude 420, which is a brilliant reel. There's nothing to choose between that and my Cadence CS10. Both excellent reels, nothing between them. I do like the Magnitude. I think it's a really good value reel. I think it's got the same innards as the Centris. You just don't get the push button spool and you don't get a double handle, which doesn't bother me. So let me put those two videos up now. I hope you found that useful and interesting, and I hope you could see in the two videos the difference there in the actions and what the action of this rod is. I'm going to be doing some more videos. I'm hoping to do another awards one because that one went down really well, and I've got some thoughts about what products, again keeping it low value. If you want to give me a like and a thumbs up, that's great, it helps spur me on. If you want to subscribe, you'll be joining well over 700 other people who are subscribed to my channel now. And this is the 32nd video that I've done in the 9-10 months that I've been going now. So there's plenty for people to look at, plenty of different tackle reviews. As I say, I'm unbiased. I use stuff from all manufacturers, and I'm always trying to find the best piece of kit for any particular job. Until next time, tight lines.